Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, July 25th of 2023, and we are convening a session of the Philadelphia Tax Review Board. My name is Melissa Andre. I'm the Executive Director. Please be aware that this is a public hearing and it is being recorded. Because the meeting is public, participants and viewers have no expectation of privacy, and by continuing to be in this meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. With me today is our board chair, Nancy Kimmerdiner. Her name is Callan. She's having some issues changing that. Additionally, we have Paula Weiss and George Matthews. It looks like the city is here, and our first case number one, is in the room. It is Mr. Levy, an attorney. Nancy?
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. As Melissa just indicated, our first case is item number 1 for Montez Lamont. Last 4 digits of the docket 2175. Property address here is 2211 North 33rd Street. Who do we have in the room for this case?
Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city.
Thank you. And for the petitioner?
I'm Bart Levy for the defense.
Can you get a little closer to the mic or speak up a little bit more, please?
Is this the mic?
Yes. That was a whole lot better. Please identify yourself for the record.
I feel funny bending down and talking this, but I'm Bart Levy. I'm an attorney for the petitioner.
Okay. Will the petitioner be here today or not?
The petitioner's been informed of this meeting and the 2 that they failed to appear at before this. We've gotten no response back from them, and I don't know why they're not here today. I would seek to withdraw this petition if this board would so allow.
Okay.
This is the 3rd time, otherwise I'd say to continue it. It's just that I don't know that they're interested in this process anymore.
Well, I think our choices today, Mr. Levy, are either to allow you to withdraw it or to deny it for failure to appear, failure to proceed. So if you're telling us that you are choosing to withdraw this petition on behalf of your client, I think we can accept that. Melissa?
I agree.
That's most
We'll
gracious.
mark it withdrawn.
Thank you.
Are you on our correspondence? You'll get the decision letter that the matter is withdrawn?
Certainly.
Okay, and you can inform your client.
Thank you.
Do I have concurrence from the other members of the board?
No need to concur.
And
No need.
Nancy Cameron, I concur as well. I thank you very much for coming in. You'll get a letter from us that spells out this decision of withdrawal of the case, and we'll see whether we hear anything else back on it later. But from our perspective, this matter is no longer before us.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in.
Mr. Levy, wait.
I was about to say, if you just hold tight, I'm going to put in the petitioner for cases 5 and 6. But before I do that, I just want to identify Lisa's iPhone and John Bowman. Are they just members of the public, or are they people who are part of the city? Lisa's iPhone is part of the city. Thank you, Ms. Chenille. And Mr. Bowman?
Also part of the city.
Also from the city? Perfect.
Yes.
Just wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Levy, we're putting in 5 and 6. You're representing Charmaine Prater?
That's right.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that at first that you were representing them as well.
I didn't need it.
All right.
These are cases ending in 9367 and 9618. Property address is 2630 North 33rd Street. Okay. Please identify yourself for the record.
Charmaine Prater.
I can't hear.
Charmaine Prater.
Can you get closer to the microphone?
Charmaine, my maiden name is Prater, Prater.
And we had you for an earlier case, but for this one, if you would identify yourself for the record, please.
I'm Bart Levy for the petitioner.
If the petitioner would, excuse me, I'd like the petitioner to swear or affirm that she will be telling the truth.
I affirm.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Who has this matter for the city?
Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city.
Do you have someone who will have numbers for the record here?
Yes, Ms. Smith.
Okay, Ms. Smith, if you would identify yourself for the record, please.
My
You're on
name is,
mute, Ms. Smith.
my name is Ms. Smith and I'm the witness for the city of Philadelphia.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes,
Okay, fine, thank you. I understand you'll have numbers for the record for us?
Well, first, Nancy, the
Yes.
petitioner wanted to put something on the record.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I missed that. Let's step back then to the petitioner. Please tell us what you wanted us to hear about your case.
I'm requesting a continuance so my attorney could represent me and handle everything. Unfortunately, I couldn't let y'all know before now. Okay, and I've been ill. I have a medical document. I'm requesting a continuance.
And so you're asking for a continuance?
Yeah.
Ms. Andre, could you look at our record and see what the history of this case is?
So these, for both of these cases, they're both the first listing before the board. Previous to that, I believe the master level case was well, I think this one we put right in front of the master because there were corresponding cases. So that was for case number 5. And then for the TAP, that one was heard before the master as well.
But it's the first listing before the board.
Correct.
Do you have a point of information that may clear up some of this? With respect to being Ms. Prater's petition being denied for TAP, she is currently on TAP and has been on TAP since March.
So is this petition moot,
The
If her-
TAP is.
Mr. Levy?
I wouldn't think so. My client feels that it's ripe as opposed to moot.
So you want to continue that as well?
If-
Yes.
Yeah. I need to look at the file, and even if it's a short continuance, I'd benefit by just catching up on it. We've only had just a brief period of time today.
Okay, so you haven't had the opportunity to explore either of these petitions and therefore are asking for both of them to be continued, even though the city feels that that one of them may already have been resolved. Is that a correct?
With respect to this board, yes, I'd like to do that, though I'm sure the city's representations are accurate.
All right,
Just-
so I would concur, but Mr. Levy, I would ask that once you have an opportunity to review the petitions and the situation, if in fact the TAP petition is resolved, would you withdraw that petition rather than have us list it again and we'll just list the other
Certainly.
one? Okay,
Certainly.
we don't keep it open if it's unnecessary to do so.
Yeah.
Okay, I would concur in that.
Okay,
Mr. Levy, I'm gonna provide the petitions to the front desk to make a copy, and then I'll make sure you get a copy.
That would be great. Thanks.
Okay.
Uh,
George Matthews, I concur with the decision.
and Nancy Camerodiner, I concur. So these matters will be continued.
Right.
And again, we would ask you that if there are things for really either of these petitions that would cause you to wish to withdraw them, please let us know as soon as that conclusion is reached so that we won't be rescheduling. But of course, if you want to go forward with them, we will be rescheduling at a later date. And we
Additionally,
thank you for
Mrs.
coming in today. And did you have something to add, Melissa?
Just, Mr. Levy, if you could leave your business card and your appearance, so that way we can make sure to update the file with Mr. Levy's information.
Certainly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you very much for coming in today and trying to get these matters moving forward.
Thanks, Mr. Levy.
Thank you very much.
Take a copy of these petitions.
Yeah, for Mr. Levy.
The room is working.
Yes, thank you. Our next case will be case number 4. So I will be putting him in the room.
Record your message.
Okay, so case number 4 is for Tyreek Myrick. I'm not sure how to pronounce those. I will hopefully get a better feel for it once I have the petitioner there. Last 4 digits of the docket are 9902. The property address is 2531 Oakford Street.
Hold on one moment, Nancy.
Sure, I just gave the name and case number.
Speak loudly into this microphone. Thank you so much.
Sure.
He's in the room and ready.
The microphone is kind of centered there in front of you, and we would request that you be as close to the mic and speak up when you're talking. Please identify yourself for the record.
Tyreek Myrick,
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
yes.
Okay, fine, thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city.
Do you have someone who will be providing numbers for the record?
Yes, Miss Smith.
Okay, and she was already sworn. So let's turn to Ms. Smith and get the numbers for the record here.
Yes, the water customer is disputing the periods February 26, 2010 through November 2nd, 2021. The principal amount is $4,058 with 0 penalties, 0 liens, bringing the disputed amount to $4,058.
Okay, thank you. Do you have numbers for us? Oh, excuse me, you just gave them. My apologies. Do you have, turning to the city, do you have anything else to add before we turn to the petitioner?
No, I'd like to hear from the petitioner first.
Okay, fine, thank you. All right, please tell us why you're here and what it is you're looking for from this board.
The abatement of the balance, because it's erroneous bill to begin with.
We need to know from you what you mean by that and why you feel that the numbers are inappropriate and the bill is erroneous.
Okay. I didn't receive that bill until actually they came out and changed the meter. Once the meter was changed, I was billed that sum total.
Were you receiving bills at all before that?
Yes, and they was paid in full for years, for 11 years?
And that's what the records that you had and received showed.
Correct.
And when in time did you start to have the problem that you're identifying?
When I filed the initial petition,
Okay, but when in time are you talking about? What year or when was it that you started to see problems developing?
actually after the meter was installed, the new meter was installed and I was issued a new bill for that sum total, what was it, $44,200 or something like that. Prior to that, I didn't have any discrepancies until
When was the new meter installed?
I have to look at my notations when the city came out and
Do
installed it.
you have something there that would give us that information?
No, I'm sure the attorney of the city will have the exact date.
And let me clarify, when the new meter was installed, right after that, you got a bill indicating that there was some money back due that had not been billed to you before, is that?
Correct. After the new bill actually was a fabricated bill. Prior to that, everything reconciled, as far as to my recollection, as far as me being billed. It's an erroneous bill that I don't know how they arrive at the conclusion that amount, 4,000 and some odd change, could be credited to my account. I just can't see that. That's my discrepancy.
I'm sorry, sir. Why don't we turn to the city and see where they came up with this bill?
I actually have a few questions for the petitioner before I turn to my witness.
Sure.
Good
Go ahead.
afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Myrick. What type of property is this?
It's a single residential property.
And is it occupied?
Yes,
How long has it been occupied?
for some time now.
So sometime meaning from the time you bought it, a couple of years since then?
Actually, I had tenants in and out of there for some time now. I mean, I purchased the property, that's been a long time ago. But as far as with that bill, it's not relevant to the facts of that bill. That bill is blatantly erroneous. Anybody can look at that and see.
And approximately how many people live there at a time?
Two,
Two, one bathroom or two bathrooms? How many bathrooms are in the home?
One,
One? And full kitchen,
right, full kitchen.
washer and dryer?
You have to say yes or no, sir. We have to hear
Yes,
your,
I don't know if they have a washer and dryer there now. I'm not sure. I don't, you know, I couldn't tell you at this point. My last inspection was like 2 years ago. I'm in the process of selling the property right now anyway.
So when you inspected the property 2 years ago, was there a washer and dryer in it?
Yes, it was.
Please move a little closer to the mic and speak up. What did you say there? When she asked about the washer
Yes.
and dryer?
Yes, it was washer and dryer in the premises, yes.
Mr. Merrick, did you receive the water bill and pay it for all those years, or did your tenants?
Tenants, it was like split. Sometimes I would pay it, sometimes it never was a problem with the water bill at that property, never. I mean, I'm sure,
But you did see the bills periodically.
yes.
Okay, that's all I asked.
How
don't
often
have any-
you visit the house there? How often you visit? Per month, once a month, or?
Can you reiterate your question? I didn't hear you too clearly.
I said, how often you go there at that place?
Uh,
Do you visit that place at all?
yeah, I do. I frequent.
Okay, did you find any?
There's no discrepancies there. I'm there within like at least once a year. It's no discrepancies there at all as far as with the water bill. Never was.
Once a year. Okay, but you didn't regularly stop to visit the property.
No, not
Okay.
regular. But there was no leakage or anything of that nature, so never.
Cindy, did you have other questions?
I have no further questions for Mr. Myrick, for the petitioner, but I do have a brief sort of, now that we've heard from the petitioner, a summation, if possible, of the issues.
Please go ahead.
So in this property, there was a non-registering meter since about 2010. Mr. Myrick was contacted over 6 times over the course since 2010 to date, or 2009 to present, or during his ownership, noting that the meter was not registering and a meter shop appointment needed to be made. In fact, leading up to the, my witness will testify to, leading up to the changing of the ERT, PWD staff went out 6 times, leaving 5 or 6 door hangers just in that period of time. And over the course of the years, every time Mr. Myrick called into the Water Revenue Bureau, he was informed of a non-registering meter, that there were estimated reads on his property, on his account, and that he needed to call and get to the meter shop. It was not until 2021 that we were granted access to the property in order to discover a found reading on the meter and update the bill accordingly.
So, Ms. Gonzalez, are you saying, and you're not in your summation,
Right.
you have testimony that the meter wasn't registering or the ERT was not?
My apologies. The ERT, the encoder receiver transmitter, was not registering.
So that
And
when
that,
water department personnel entered the property, there was an actual reading. This is not an estimate.
correct.
Could we get somebody to put some testimony on to that?
Yes, this is just an opening that should tell what my witness will testify to. Ms. Smith, have you had an opportunity to review this water customer's account?
Yes,
What type of property is this?
residential.
Who is the owner of this property?
Tyreek Myrick. I'm sorry
And
for
how
the
do you-
background noise. I'm sorry for the background noise. Go ahead.
No. And how do you know those things?
Per Docs.
What charges appeared on this customer's bill for the period in question?
Usage, service, and stormwater.
And were those usage charges, were those actual or estimated?
Estimated.
Was the petitioner ever informed that the bills were estimated?
Yes,
Approximately how many times?
at least 3 times.
When?
May 22nd, 2009, January 26th, 2010, and November 30th, 2016.
And what was the petitioner instructed to do each of those times?
To make a meter shop appointment.
Do our records indicate that the petitioner did that any of those times?
He did October 2021, but not prior.
Was there any other way for the petitioner to know that the usage charges were being estimated?
Yes, by reviewing his bill.
Did technicians visit the property during the period in question?
Yes,
How many times?
6 times.
When did they visit?
November 12th, 2011, March 30th, 2021, April 15th, 2021, June 25th, 2021, August 28th, 2021, and then September 16th, 2021.
Why
And-
did they? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You can finish your statement to the last question.
And then I was going to say, and lastly, the rotate in October 2021.
Thank you. When did they gain entry to the property?
October 27th, 2021.
And according to our records, what did they find, if anything?
They just found that the property was occupied.
And what did they do, if anything?
They changed the ERT,
And what was the result of the ERT being changed?
a back bill for the estimated usage.
I'm sorry, could you clarify back bill for the estimated usage? What was the back bill based on?
So the back bill was based on the actual fine read at the rotate.
Approximately how long of a period does the rebilling cover?
141 months
How much was the rebilling?
for $4,058.58.
And about what does that average to per month for the period that the rebilling covers?
5.24 CCFs per month.
What is the payment history like for this account?
He generally pays every 2 months.
And is the, and I have no further questions. For Ms. Smith.
Anything else then from the city?
No, only if I may, a brief closing statement. Again, this is a case where it is clear that the petitioner was aware that there were estimated bills and then did not address them. The city cannot address an ERT that is not registering if a property owner will not let us in the property and does not respond to any of our overtures to correct the situation.
So let's give Mr. Merrick an opportunity. If you have any questions for the city witness, Mr. Merrick?
Yes, as far as verification and documentation that I received notices pertaining to your billing or notices that you said you issued me to that particular property that I didn't respond to.
I'm sorry, what's your question?
I thought he made a statement.
Verification about the notices that was furnished to me for that particular property. Do you have any documentation attesting that I received those notices?
Well,
'Cause
they wouldn't
never-
know if you received them. They can tell you that they sent them.
I never received any notices. It's obvious. I mean, it's obvious that they got in to change the ERT. I would, if I would receive notices, the problem would have been rectified. So I'm gonna object to that.
Let
Notices.
me ask the city in this regard, when notices, you've mentioned notices going out. Do you have anything that indicates whether they went to the petitioner or they went to the property?
Ms.
The
Smith,
owner of
would
the
you please-
property or the person who was living there?
Yes, there are several times that Mr. Myrick called into the water department and our notes indicate what was discussed. If Ms. Smith could pull up the notes that she mentioned in her previous testimony to illustrate for the board.
Right, can she share her screen?
Furthermore, PWD, I have photos of PWD's door hangers that were left at the property for each of the instances in 2021.
You
But
guys,
if they were left on the property, there's nothing that indicates that the owner of the property got those. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be correct. However, it is a property owner's responsibility to remain current with their property.
I understand that, but the way you stated that, it was as though putting something on the door of the property would ensure that the property owner got that notice, and that wouldn't always be true.
It is possible that a property owner would not get a notice or notice that 6 notices had been left on their door.
Okay, just wanted to verify.
So
So
here,
Miss-
I'm sorry, so here, on January 26, 2010, it says water customer, apparently he called in, receive or record whatever REC stands for, never received notice of his original dispute. It specifies the call of the dispute being resolved. Bills are estimated, will call back with reading from meter. Please review. And then he called back stating that the property has been empty for several years. And then he called back with the reading. And then he was instructed to please contact to schedule meter to be checked.
I'm gonna object to that. Really the whole matter, because if you have documentation dating back correspondence actually from me in 2010, that right there just solidified the whole argument. Because if you was in communication with me then, why wasn't the problem rectified? You could have suspended the services of anything. Like, why was this problem allowed to accrue for so long without being rectified if you communicated with me in 2010?
Okay, so I cannot speak on behalf of the accounting unit.
Where's the due diligence from the city? If you communicated with me in 2010, why are we having a hearing in 2013 from a problem dating back over 10 years? I'm curious to know, as a taxpaying person in the city of Philadelphia, I'm curious to know. Please, can you please elucidate and explain that to me in a layman's term that I can understand, please?
I'm going to object. This calls for speculation.
Speculation when the evidence is avert to human eye to see? How's this speculation?
The answer is she doesn't know. It's
Okay.
not her area that she's responsible for, so she doesn't know. Correct, Ms. Smith?
Yes, correct.
So let's move on to another question or some other
And so,
question.
and then just to finish answering the question, on November 30th, 2016, this is another call. This is the last call where he was told what he called asking about not receiving a bill. And then he was advised that they're not sure why, but he was also advised of the estimated readings and repair charges, and was once again given a number to dispute the repairs and to call the meter shop, and was provided the meter shop number.
Mr. Merrick, did you call the meter shop at any point before 2021?
Actually, I believe I did. I believe I did try to rectify the problem, because it's obvious that the services was never suspended. If I would have been in defy anything from Philadelphia, the services would have been suspended from that property. So it's obvious that the bill is being shifted to me for some type of lack of due diligence on the city behalf. It's obvious. The record attests to that.
There have been indications that there were time periods when you did not have a tenant there. Can you give us a better understanding of how long the property went without having a tenant?
About 5 years, 4 years, 4 or 5 years. We're going back all the way to 2010.
All right. Mr. Merrick, do you have any other evidence you want to provide to us, or any other questions for the city's representative?
Okay, the only evidence that I would like to initiate into the record will be just the evidence from the public utility commissions and really the city of Philadelphia attesting that the services always was operable at that particular property. And if it was anything defiance or contrary to me compliant, services would have been suspended. The record attests that it was always payments being made on any bill that came there. And this is an erroneous bill that I hope you can rectify for me today.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes, to continue my other statement, the petitioner was informed numerous times that his meter was not reading accurately and that we would need to gain access to the property in order to rectify the situation. If Mr. Myrick had followed instructions in 2009, in 2010, in 2016, in early 2021, we might not be here today. However, Mr. Myrick, though he claims to have called the department, has not produced any evidence that he did, any dates that he did. Furthermore, is with respect to any possible dates that the property was not occupied, Mr. Myrick has, and I can show this if necessary, has had a rental license for this property starting in 2007, which presumes occupancy, and no vacant property licenses during that time period.
It's
Further,
lapse in a renewal that can attest that.
Sir, you have to let her finish and then you can get an opportunity to rebut. But we have to be fair. And additionally, we have a court reporter who can't take two people's testimony at the same time. So let's just be respectful of each other. Thank
Sorry.
you. Okay.
furthermore,
continue.
with respect to the rebilling, this is a found reading on the meter. This is the reading that Mr. Meyer was billed for is what passed through the meter, not an estimate, not a rebilling based on averages, but what passed through the meter. And as far as the burden, the petitioner, Mr. Myrick, has the burden, and it is the city's position that he has not met the burden to overcome the prima facie validity of the city's billing.
Mr. Marek, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yes. As far as the burden, according to the Philadelphia City Water Revenue, Section 401, Section 2, the burden rests on the city as far as to make sure that that meter is operable and to perform inspections, routinely inspections. We can pull up the manual if you like. I would like to enter that into record. Matter of fact, actually, Section 401(2), city meter reading. Can we enter that into record?
Did you get the inquiries about having someone come and read the meter? And that the city's referred to a number of different occasions when they reached out to you with notices that you needed to have someone come and they wanted to talk to you. I can't recite what all the different situations are that they have identified in their conversation today, but did you answer them when they contacted you about those things over the course of several years?
Always. I always complied. Always. That's the reason why we're here, me complying. They came in, they changed the meter, I complied, never received any suspensions or anything. So I'm curious to know as far as the litigation that they were sending, specifying or calls. To me, that's malarkey. It's made up. It got to be fabricated because I have no recollection of that at all. If such was the case, you would have shut off notices or suspensions on my account for me not complying. I always complied. So that's a fabrication.
Anything else from the city?
Only that the call notes that Ms. Smith brought up were times that the petitioner affirmatively called the city and was directly instructed to make an appointment with the meter shop. That did not happen for several years, which allowed the problem to persist. The city is not permitted to enter these properties without someone's permission. So without Mr. Myrick or someone in control of the property allowing the city in, this problem could not have been rectified. That did not happen despite multiple notices and multiple instructions to make an appointment at a time that was convenient for the petitioner or for someone to control the property. Did not happen until 2021. This is the same as if he was warned of a leak and refused to shut off the tap for several months and then wanted money back for that.
And I will have one more question. And then Ms. Smith, can you confirm that the bills that were sent, the estimates were paid? That there was a good payment history?
Yes, there was a good payment history.
Okay, I'm going to suggest that may have been why the city did not take any further action. So just a hypothetical. Nancy, are we ready to go back?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. So yes, unless there's something else that has not been identified by either the petitioner or the city, we're going to step aside and consider the matter.
Okay. If everybody just holds tight, the board is going to go into a virtual breakout room and we'll be right back. Nancy, everyone is back.
Okay, fine, thank you. After due consideration of everything we've heard, the board has decided to deny this petition. You'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. Both sides do have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of the date of our letter. But I'll assume for the moment that neither side is going to choose to appeal, and if that proves to be the case, then toward the end of this 30-day time period, we would recommend that you get in touch with the city and talk with them about arrangements for entering into a payment agreement or making full payment.
I'm
Thank you
appealing
for-
to the Commonwealth Court. You can.
Well,
just-
you have that opportunity if you wish to go to court and do that instead of settling here at the city. Yes, I'm sorry if I didn't emphasize that. I apologize. You'll get that letter from us, and you do have 30 days to review and consider, and you can, in that time period, go to court if you so choose.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in
Nancy?
today.
Paula Weiss, I concur with the decision.
George Matthews, I concur with the decision.
And Nancy Camerdiner. So we have a quorum of the board who have concurred in the decision. Thank you for coming in.
So you too. Have a nice day.
You too.
You too.
And so the only remaining one is item number 3. I'm
Case
sorry,
number 2. Case number 2.
no, case number 2 was no action needed, and that was dealt with at the outset.
We read it into the record?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
When you were out checking on people, I believe I read it into the record. We'll double check with the court reporter.
One moment.
At the very beginning,
The 22, was it the 2211?
No,
it was case number 2, last 4 digits of the docket, 9563. Did I not read that into the record? I thought I
No,
had.
ma'am.
Oh, my apologies. In my head, I had done that. Okay. Thank you very much for both of you bringing me back to reality here. This is case number 2, no action needed. And it was not dealt with officially on the record today. And that was for Moore Management Group. Last 4 digits of the docket, 956. Was that a 3? Yes, 63. And the property address is 4609 North Broad Street. And no action was needed. That was not dealt with by the board today.
and the board concur?
Paula Weiss, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
Okay, and then case number 3 for Charles Lee. That's the one we haven't dealt with at all.
Correct.
And you checked and no one is here for that case.
Correct. It is approximately 2:48 p.m. There is no one here in the office at 100 South Broad Street, and there is no one in the Zoom waiting room.
And that's case number 9902. And the property address here is
No,
2531.
no.
Whoop,
0048. Yeah,
yeah, 6146 North 11th Street. I went on an angle on the list. My apologies.
has this been listed before, Melissa?
No, this is the first listing before the board.
Denied for failure to appear.
I do have a point of information, and it was my understanding that the petitioner had reached out to the board, but that is apparently not the case. When I spoke with him, I would say about a week ago, he indicated that he left a message at the tax review board and had withdrawn his petition.
Okay, well, I don't have anything. I think our voicemails are clear. So,
When did
What
he
was-
indicate this had been done?
Please allow me one moment to check my email.
Approximately.
Well, denied for failure to appear.
Yes, we
Doesn't-
will deny
And
the
if-
petition.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
and if we get indications of withdrawn, we can change that to withdraw.
Okay.
I can forward my email, my correspondence with him where he indicates that.
Was
Thank you.
that
Oh, do
today?
you have an
or was
email that
that
says he's withdrawing his petition?
Yes.
Oh,
Is that sufficient, Melissa?
I think, yeah, the email is fine as long as it's in writing.
Okay, then we can just leave it as withdrawn.
Yep.
And mark it that way.
How long ago did you get that email approximately?
Mr. Lee sent that email to me on July 13th, stating that he previously called the Office of Administrative Review on 6/20/23, informing them that my disputed water has been resolved and there is no need for a hearing. I am happy about that.
Well,
Well, if it
fabulous.
wasn't in writing, then we would have asked for it to be in writing, and perhaps that's what we were missing. So your email will suffice though.
So if you'll forward that to us for our records, that would be appreciated. And is there anything else that we are, have not dealt with that we need to address today? Hearing no one bring anything up, this is the end of today's hearing, and we thank you all for participating. Do you have any comments, Melissa, in terms of Thursday?
There is no TRB on Thursday. The city has its annual law department CLE. And so I can't schedule anybody because everybody's in the CLE, including myself. So there will be no board.
Just
on-
wanted to go that on the record with that one.
Thank you. Thank you. I was going to try to sneak it in as well. So there is no board on Thursday. Thank you,
Have
everyone.
fun.
Thank
Oh,
you.
it's going
Bye.
to
Take care.
Get
Bye, everybody.
educated, and we'll see you all hopefully sometime next week.
Next week.
Have a good
Bye.
one,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care.
Thank you.
Bye.